The main thing that a lot of people took from this documentary is the fact that Megan lied to Gayle King about sleeping with Tory Lanez. Megan Thee Stallion, in her words, is now streaming on Prime Video. This documentary covered a lot of Megan's career, a lot of her personal life, and I thought it was great to just dive in and to see the life of Megan Thee Stallion, of our beloved Tina Snow, right? So in this documentary, we see Megan's graduation day in Houston. She's excited to walk across the stage. She's proud, as she should be. Afterwards, she's taking pics with her fellow graduates, having cake, and there's a picture of her mother on the cake. She always thinks about her mom when she goes to Houston. It was a cute cartoon of Megan as a little girl riding in the back seat as her mom rapped to the radio, because we know her mother was also a rapper. She really looked up to her mom and aspired to be like her. Her mom and grandmom encouraged her to be her best and to embrace her height. We know Megan is a tall girlie. She's 5'10". She's always been a tall girl. Her dad died of a heart attack when she was in the 9th grade. The pain that she felt from that, she began investing into Megan Thee Stallion. And her mom really poured into her and encouraged her to be her best as an artist. This documentary dives into Megan's work ethic, her rehearsals, and balancing the art of dancing and rapping at the same time. Like, these rap girlies are doing it all. So much more goes into their performances than the male rappers, and that's not to say that some of the male rappers don't work their asses off, like a Lupe Fiasco or a Kendrick Lamar, just to name a couple, because those two, in my opinion, are some of like the best like performers as male rappers. But anyway, that's another story. But the rap girlies, they're dancing, they're rapping live, they have hair, makeup, oftentimes heels. And we see Megan rehearsing and showing the work that goes into being a real performer. It's also so sweet that we see her mom at her rehearsal guiding her and encouraging her to breathe. We really see Megan building her career, performing at bars, doing radio interviews. Like, the girl put in the work. At this time, she was still recording new music, but the difference is that her mom was there with her. She let her mom make all the decisions. She trusted her, of course. Her mother was in the studio with her, constantly pushing her to be her best, but also just there to love on her, which is what she needed. It was so sweet to see. Her mom would play piano and she'd twerk to it, which was so cute. It was the sweetest. Then one day, her mom gives her a call from the hospital. She had a brain tumor and she was slurring her words, and it was just hard for her to like speak clearly. She began having multiple seizures, and of course, Megan was terrified. Her mom became unresponsive, so Megan had to make her toughest decision to pull the plug. She continued performing for her mom because she knew that's what her mother would want for her. The strength and the courage, just this whole sequence, I'm about to like fucking break down again, so let me move on. That was hard to watch. Wow. As her career really began to take off was the same time that she lost her cornerstone. She fought every day to keep it together, and she continued to build her brand as a hot girl. She starts winning awards. She gets to collab with one of her all-time heroes, the Beyonce, on the Savage remix, as we all know. She talks about her former bestie, Kelsey, who was always around and eventually became Megan's assistant. Megan needed and sought that warmth that her mother provided. She masked her pain with alcohol and continued the search for that warmth that her mother provided. She began hanging out with Tory Lanez, whom also lost his mom, so they bonded over that. She gets into detail about what happened the night he shot her, which still to this day just blows my mind. Like, what was the reason? There was no reason to shoot this girl, and she still went on and covered up for him at that time. Like, you shot this woman for what? And I'm glad that justice was fucking served. We later hear Tory's call to Kelsey admitting that he shot her and saying that he was really drunk and that he wouldn't usually do anything like that. And like, I know that there was the whole thing about, Megan and Kelsey fighting over Tory that night. Again, whatever happened, he had no reason to shoot her. Okay? So soon after, Megan did WAP with Cardi B, which is a song we all needed during the pandemic. That song will forever be a hit. I don't care, I don't care, I do not care. They showed clips of a lot of ashy males expressing their disdain toward the song, as well as Megan and Cardi, but they also showed the warm welcome it received when it was released, which was phenomenal. It was at this time that Tory began denying that he shot her, even though there was a call with him and Kelsey of him speaking on and admitting that he shot her. You have more Ashies speaking on the topic as if they were there, but I feel that a lot of people's opinions are formed solely to testify against the black woman. Evidence directly in your face, but you still choose to chastise the black woman. Megan does admit to lying to Gayle King about sleeping with Tory. Megan is known for embracing her sexuality, but even had she told Gayle the truth about sleeping with him, people still would have found a way to villainize her. So I'm like, a lot of people only watch this documentary to see what they could nitpick at when it comes to Megan and her story and the whole Tory Lanez shooting debacle. And I'm like, girl, get over it. The fact that she slept with Tory and lied about it does not change the fact that he shot her. We then see Megan begin working on Traumazine, where we see Lori-Ann Gibson. I love Lori-Ann, and I'm so happy to see her. Lori-Ann is shown in this documentary pouring into Megan when she was feeling sick before a show, and it was just so beautiful to me. We get to see Megan killing it, performing around the world. We experience her anxiety surrounding her performing after being shot, because there were so many sad people saying that Tory should have finished the job, which is wild. Oh God, that blows my mind. We saw the baby bring Tory out on stage despite having a musical relationship and possibly a friendship with Megan. We saw Tory trolling her in his music videos. You had so many music industry males speaking out in defense of Tory, including Diddy, the usual suspects, Diddy, Chris Brown, and then you had Meek Mill and even LeBron James, just to name a few. And I really just wonder how this narrative would have been spun had it been Tory who was shot, saying that he was the one who was shot by Megan. I guess we'll never know. I mean, I know, but you know what I mean. On to more positive, where we see Megan receive the key to the city of Houston. Megan then goes to visit her mom's grave site for the first time, which of course had me sobbing and weeping. Traumazine is released. We see her doing the press for it, followed by her SNL hosting and performance, which I watched when it aired and I loved it. But every time I watch a performance of Anxiety, I can't help but to weep. Seeing her cry on, I cannot. I cannot. I had no idea Megan would have me sobbing so much in this documentary. They then show that her home was broken into while she was in New York City rehearsing for SNL, as well as Drake beginning to troll her. Girl. At this point, Megan is tired in so many ways and takes a mental health break by going to a retreat. She comes back feeling like a brand new bitch. Okay, her words. The day of the trial comes, and of course, there are multiple Ashies outside the courthouse calling Megan out. Megan showed up for herself, though, and as always, she fucking fought. There was such great imagery of her allowing the build-up to the trial to kind of drown her, but she then found what was important within herself and swam back to the surface to take back her life. Kelsey took the stand and claimed that she didn't have like a clear recollection of what happened that night. Megan anxiously is awaiting the ruling of the trial for weeks, and she's very nervous and very anxious about it, and she finally gets the news that Tory has been charged and will be going to motherfucking prison. She felt the relief as Megan broke down, knowing that this was all behind her and that justice was served. She's back on her hot girl shit, and she releases Cobra and starts working on the Megan album and continues taking over the world. I really loved this documentary. I loved seeing a more vulnerable side of Megan, and not that she owes us that at all, because she doesn't, but it was just nice to see. It was very sweet to see, and I just feel so proud of her, losing someone that you're so close with and still pushing through and still performing and still dealing with bullshit from so many people is so difficult, and I commend her and I love her.